Hello brothers and sisters, welcome to my channel. If you are new, please don't forget to subscribe. This is Uncle Lenny, and please don't forget to share this video. Make sure you leave a comment in the comment box. This evening I'm so privileged sitting down next to Professor Eric Biko of Pittsburgh University. You see, I've been looking forward to find someone else I can talk to, but today I'm so privileged. Professor, you are welcome. So you're welcome to my viewers.
Thank you.
I've been looking forward for quite some time to find someone else who I can talk to who is at Pittsburgh University. So to have you today, it's so much a privilege, and so many people are looking forward for this interview this evening. Who is Professor Eric Biko?
Thank you so much, as usual. Originally, I'm from West Africa, Ghana, and that's what I'm there. My education, everything started from there. I was born there. I did actually went through all my studies up to masters. So it's when I was applied for the PhD.
Okay.
That is 2000. Okay. To US, then I came and studied, and I did ethnomusicology, music and cultures and performances. That's what I did. And unfortunately, actually, when I came, it was 5 years. So I went through the 5 years and completed. And it's University of Pittsburgh that I came as a student.
Oh, wow.
And when I finished right away, I was taken. First of all, in the music department, then later changed to the Africana Studies.
Wow.
So 5 years then to continue from there.
Wow, wow.
So where I became a faculty. So
you came direct from Ghana. Were you at Ghana University? Or?
Yes, I went to, in fact, I did my bachelor in a university called Cape Coast University. Then we have University of Ghana, Legon. Okay. That's where I did my master's.
All right.
And actually, surprisingly, when I finished my bachelor, I taught first. I was a teacher. Throughout my life, I've been teaching. Okay. So I was teaching in the college. Then later on, I did the master's in Legon. But when I was taking the course as a master's degree, I was still teaching over there, all right, as assistant. Okay, okay. So when I finished, then I applied for the PhD. Then I came here. Okay. And surprisingly, when I came here it happened that, thank God, it happened that while I was a student, I was still got a fellow to teach. So I was still teaching. So it was through my teaching experience, because when I was doing the PhD, I was still teaching for 5 years. So it's when I finished, based on my teaching experience, it was easy for them to Otherwise, I would have gone to Ghana, probably to Legon to be a professor. Okay.
We have two topics we're going to cover. We're going to look into Celebrate Africa, but before then, I want an African who lives or who will see this video. When we look at Professor Eric Biko, be a professor at University of Pittsburgh, I want this African to be inspired that it's possible. If Mr. Eric can be a professor, surely there's somebody else who can do just that. So today we're going to talk much more about how we get here, Professor.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I think let me start from one thing I encountered. If I talk about my experience when I finished, the issue actually in a lot of universities studying Africa, there's been a lot of problem in the state of Africa. Many departments in all universities across the world, especially more in the United States and so on, studying Africa is not easy. A lot of departments have not really been able to bring people, because students want to study Asia, Europe, and so on. They have seen Africa as a dark continent. It's like Africa doesn't have a history. Africa doesn't have what it tells to study. It's very difficult when we encounter this so much. So now, the only thing for Africana studying of Africa, African diaspora, black culture throughout the whole world, it took some time to raise it, because there are certain financial demand they will not give, because they don't know what to do in Africa, because they assume that Africa doesn't have history. What is African culture? What is African this? And they have assumed that Africa is always in poor poverty, fighting against each other. They don't like each other. They don't really see what to study. So we have to develop something to change the mind of the people. So all those professors, all those teachers decide have one goal. One goal is to teach. Because before this department were developed across even the whole US, formally you have Europeans who actually will go and write it. Most of the time you have history, geography written by Europeans. Europeans are writing about Africans, Western, and Africa, we sit down quietly, we don't do anything. So that was the main purpose. So we have to design. So if I give example of some of the courses I teach, which was there already, there was one professor who actually left before. This started quite a long time, where a lot of, we have to develop a lot of this. For instance, I teach 6 courses. All right. And one course is Introduction to Africa. Introduction to Africa. This one actually introduced the people into Africa. Then we talk early African civilization. Because they have thought the world has been, Africa has been a dark continent for quite a long time. So where was that civilization? Reveal it to them. Then thirdly, there's one other course, Cultures of Africa. Cultures of Africa. Cultures of Africa. Africa is very, very important here. Then that is the social science of those years. Then take African liberation movement. All right, because we did not want independence out of nowhere. It was a fighting battle. All right, and we see how we're able to succeed in that area. So the liberation movement that we're still fighting for. All right, so this is the area that I teach or in social science. Then the arts, humanity, I teach music. You teach dance music. And performance. And I teach black performance or performance aesthetics. Looking at black culture. Because they wonder how blacks, we like shouting, why do we dance? All right, people think they don't dance, but why they want to? So I teach literature, African literature. There are so many things. All right, and so you see the broad, I can say a lot, but we have developed, so people also teaching different courses. And the students have a way of rushing and learning some of.
Professor, I'm so happy that you are teaching more about Africa, because you see, when I came to America, I met a friend. There was me who was from Zambia, and I had a friend who was from Pakistan, and then I met an American guy. So we are 3 of us. So whilst we are 3 of us, then this American friend of mine, he turned to me, he says, "Do you live with animals?" So I was like, "Ooh, wow." At first, I was kind of like upset a little bit, but having stayed here for quite some time, I came to realize that there was not enough information that was taught among education in America. Because when I was at school, I learned more about America compared to America teaching about Africa. So I came to realize that, fine, I think there must be misconception over here about Africa. So I'm glad that there are people like you who can try to change the mindset of people like that friend of mine who thought maybe we are living with animals. So I'm grateful that there are people that are able to tell the story of my Africa, the true story that is not heard on CNN. Because when you check so much, it's about Africa fighting, Africa killing each other, but they're not talking about the positive part of Africa. So
and I like what you say. Would you mind if I jump in here a little bit?
No problem, no problem.
The reason why students began to apply. I can give example. Because we came to a point where I personally saw it as a call. I saw it as a call. When I say a call, that is my, because it was very easy for me to move to go back to Ghana. But I saw that those of us, we didn't come to diaspora for nothing. All right. I realized that it's a call. Sometimes we Africans, when we come here, we are interested to maybe build a house, be rich, education, and that is all. But that is not all. The reason why we came here, I saw as a vision that apart from the other side to be educated and be rich, you came for a purpose. For a purpose, because who should know your culture? You have to learn your culture. That's exactly. And I remember there was some time when people became interested. Because when they go, I said a lot of people come to the class, and most of the time, every class, I ask them the reason why they took the course. They are registered for the course. Because there are so many cultures. Africa is not the only culture. There's Asia, so many broad, about 20 cultures. But we pick Africa. So I want to know the reason why you have taken this course. It's quite interesting. So everybody, 40 students, they all have to tell me the reason. The reason why they picked up Africa. And it's quite interesting. And I can tell several. Let me give a few examples. Many of them say they saw because all of them have a certain idea of Africa. They are not ignorant.
Okay.
Yes, they are not at all. They have a little.
Okay.
They got the information from CNN.
Okay.
They got information from somewhere. I mean,
yes,
so they
yes.
know Africa.
They know
All right,
Africa.
you can't say they don't know. They know.
They know Africa.
But the main cause is to erase what is in their mind.
In their mind.
And put in the correct one.
Correct.
That was my aim.
Okay.
Teach them the proper. So that's my aim. So tell me, he said no because he saw in East Africa or something of that sort where they live on trees and so on, or they saw lions all around, all right, and sometimes you saw there's always war, they kill each other.
Yeah.
They all of them, you have majority. It's not their fault.
That's exactly.
It's not their fault.
Yes.
It's where they are coming from, what they've given to them as Africa.
That's exactly.
So it's my focus, my aim is to erase
that,
remove it and put the right purpose.
Right purpose. I'm grateful.
And because if you don't know what they know already and you part, they'll have the wrong and put the right. No, remove the wrong. So that's what I go straight. Then I told them, now we have to know Africa. I tell them that now you are going to learn what Africa say about themselves.
That's exactly.
Not what Westerners say about Africa.
You see, the good part of here is that what you teach normally ends in the classroom. But we are so grateful that I want the world. Now we want to take the message that you teach in class out of that square room to the world. Because there are so many that will know Africa through this channel. There are people that are in England, that are in Asia, that will know the true Africa that they have never heard. That this is not the Africa they hear on TV, but this is the true African telling the story about Africa. For someone else who just moved from Africa and is still struggling, he is on the crossroads, either to pursue education here, or some they says no, I can't manage. Maybe I should just return back. Or some people they just get fed up with education. They just fuse it into the communities and forget about education. What message do you have for someone else who is still at home, who still hasn't made up any minds to say, let me go and pursue so that we can change? Because you see, education is power. And I like the fact that you said that we did not just come in here to acquire money to build houses, but we have a purpose. So we want everybody else here in diaspora to do their part, to tell the story about Africa. So first I want you to speak to the kids that are still at home, or someone else who is still thinking, wow, I can't do this. You know, what message do you have for them?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I've had a lot of students who actually, or some even people from the community who interact with me. Most of the time it has been blacks, origin Africa, so many. All right, they go through condition because some of them come with hope, thinking that when you get to America, everything will be okay.
Yes.
But it doesn't go the way they think. They don't know how to. And they encounter a lot of difficulty when it comes to even education. But I think some of us, apart from just teaching, we feel that we have also God's given us a gift to motivate. So students, all those who are interested, is very simple. First of all, you must have a vision.
Yes.
And you have the desire that you want to achieve it. Because we all know, even as Christians, that we know that if you don't know what you want to do, God cannot do it for you.
That's exactly.
You have a purpose, you have to know.
That's exactly.
That is where I encounter a lot of Africans where they have difficult to really know. So most of them, sometimes I have a meeting with them to counsel them. I counsel them because they don't know the condition. Some have lived for quite a long time. They thought it would be education. And sometimes you look at the price, because let me give an example. When I was in Ghana, the reason why getting PhD was that I won a full scholarship. Okay. But I was in Ghana. Yeah, so because of that, what interesting is that we have a lot of students who come, they decide what they want to do for 4 years, maybe 2 years, they've stayed in the US, they can't do anything. But what they need, first of all, is to need a counsel. So all those who don't know what to do, you know, you need someone to counsel you, because sometimes you see difficult, you don't know what to do. But when you counsel, first of all, you know, what do you want to achieve? What do you want to achieve? There's one example who a person came over here, I think it was a student. He managed to even enter. All right, but she didn't like what she was doing. So she came. She's from Ghana. I remember that 10 years ago. So she's confused.
Okay, yeah.
So I counsel her and I asked her, what is her interest?
What is the interest?
She was interested. She was doing psychology, but she was not interested. Then she started looking at communication, media communication. Then I told her. So what I did was that I told her to tell the parents that he talked to me, and I think that should help us.
Yes.
She changed it in the second year.
Okay.
She finished it. Before she finished this, even Pittsburgh radio station employed her.
Wow.
She was doing part-time there. She went to Caribbean.
Wow.
So now she's in the global world. She was traveling across Africa in the media after finishing.
Wow.
Because she immediately saw where she need to expel. Most of the time we choose certain area and that is not our core. So we struggle. But you can rise only when you fall within the reason why. So to locate what you want to do is very, very important. That very important. Cancel them. And I think that everybody can do everything he wants to do.
So brothers and sisters, see how blessed we have that we have our own professor. So if you are still struggling or you haven't made up your mind or you're still thinking, please find a counsel. Find a counsel. It's not easy to be in a diaspora and find someone else who can guide you. But here we have our own professor who can guide you. I'll still encourage you to find time. Professor, so if in case someone else wants to get in touch with you,
no problem.
Is there any phone number that we can give out?
I can link to you.
No problem. So if you want to get hold of a professor for just one-to-one or for counsel, surely my phone number is 412-853-7754. Yes. Get hold of me. I'll make sure that we'll set up that appointment. But that's just besides. I'm not talking about this. Today we are talking about Africa. I don't want to run away from the main topic. The main topic is about Africa. So here is a person who was born and raised in the United States. He hasn't even made up a mind. He's thinking, because I've met so many people that think Africa is a country. I have a friend who says, Africa is a country. So I was like, wow. Now, since I have a professor who is teaching about Africa, can you tell my viewers, what is Africa, a country or a continent?
Thank you so much. I mean, it's a basic problem because, as I said already, the students who come to my class, they have assumption that Africa is a country. I remember there's one white lady, not in class, asked me outside, do I know, he mentioned the person's name.
Yes.
The person said it's in Uganda. Do I go there? He thought Ghana, you can walk to
Uganda. Really? Wow.
You know, it's not a problem. I was not angry at all.
Yes.
The point is that is what we're trying to raise, that concept that Africa is a continent with 54 countries plus islands. All right. So this is what we give it a broad, and we don't just teach. We look a lot of African map. We analyze them. We go deep into it. Look at videos. They watch video. They watch video to Nairobi. They watch video to Johannesburg. They see Zambia. We want them see Africa. That's why at the end of the day, some of them want to travel to Africa. So we open their mind. They will see that Africa is a continent. It's the second largest continent. And what makes people surprised was that Africa the earth was there where other split. Now we have 5 continents. But Africa did not move.
Africa did not move.
All the others moved. And they left Africa alone. Husband have been the roots.
Wow.
Africa did not move.
Africa did not move.
Others moved. And one area in what I teach in early African civilization is one of my best, and people rush. Sometimes you have 40. So far, sometimes you have 40 students. It was 30 and we have to extend it to 40. Now sometimes I have 11 students still waiting for space to come in. Because what shocked people that first of all, we study the continent itself. Because you can't study people without studying first the continent. So we go geologically to look at the structure of the continent for thousands of years before we look at human origin. And it surprised people. Now we say we have about 800 ethnic groups.
Wow, in Africa?
Yes.
800.
But 800 ethnic groups, they all come from one of the 4. It means that the first 4 ethnic groups that emerged before it split to 800. So we go detailed.
Wow.
For all you know, somebody in Zimbabwe might have come from West Africa. You know what I mean? So they realize, they see, a lot of people write, and some of the students get open mind to the whole region. It's quite full. Spread the whole African, cover the whole
Wow.
800.
Brothers and sisters, I'm enjoying today.
And that's where we're going to see.
Yes.
And if we look at the family, the podcast system, the crumb system, and for thousands of years before Africa was colonized, we look at the civilization of Africa. All right. Sometimes we don't look at the pre-colonial, we look at colonial.
Colonial, yeah.
But we're colonial 19th century.
Yes.
How many centuries? Just few, all right?
Yes, yes.
About
yes.
405 years. But what about we started tracing their origin from BC. All right, before Christ.
Before
BC,
Christ.
thousands of years.
Wow.
The society were there. There were kingdoms, empires, and so on. And surprise in Africa, the whole world, Egypt kingdom. All right, or you have the kingdom of Egypt.
The kingdom
was
Egypt.
the first ever. People know. We don't want to study Greece and Roman kingdoms. They came later. They came later.
Wow.
But
Wow.
the first civilization started from. You know what I mean? So we bring the people mind to understand. To get it, catch me.
So brothers and
Africa is just broad.
Brothers and sisters, this is the Africa that you don't see, that you don't hear on the CNN or on BBC, but you can only hear Africa on the Uncle Lenny's channel. Today you are getting the story of my little Africa with Professor Biko. Professor, I'm enjoying. It's like I'm in class as well. I just have. It's like I'm a student of your class, but I'm enjoying it today. So we're still going to have to talk. Supposing someone else leaves Africa, do you have any message for one who was born here and wants to decide to go and visit Africa? Would you encourage such a person to visit?
Yes, I will encourage. It's very, very important here. That is part of my teaching.
Okay.
Because at the end of each class, I talk to that even if you have even non-Africans trying to go to Africa.
Wow.
And most of the time, those who are born here, they don't want to. They don't know anything. They don't want to go to Africa. So I tell them that you can know your culture. And most of the time, all the students who were born here after that, they want to go.
You go on to return back to Africa.
Yes, they desire, because I told them that in Africa, most of the time, it's not where you were born. In Western culture, you were born. We discuss in class. So in Western culture, if you're born in Pennsylvania, you say your parents are from Oklahoma. You say you are Pennsylvania. You know, so you are born in so and so. But I said in Africa, if your region is Zambia, you can be born in Ghana. You are Zambia.
Yeah, Zambian.
And I said Africa is not where you're born. It's the spirit. It's a deep kin, K-I-N. Where your origin, your ancestors were. That's what makes you. It's not where you were born.
That's exactly.
So when I talk to the students, I say, you were born here. But we have to tell you, you're not America.
You're not America.
Because your blood does not say that. It's not environment. You're Africa.
Your blood.
So go back. Your blood define you.
I like
It's not where you were born.
I like
And motivate them. I say, you better go. Some of them go. They are rushed.
Wow. Well, I like the impact that comes with your courses, because you know there are people that goes to school, get education, and just be on the street. But I can see the effect when the student come in your class. They says they want to go and see Africa. They want to see what you have taught, because there are people that sometimes this education, one can go to school and it becomes pointless. But to be in a class where you are teaching the true African, and then afterward they are inspired to say, we were misled. You are erasing those negative knowledge they acquired.
Yes.
And then it's like you are changing the mindset of the people that enter. So do you have any difficulties for students to enroll in your class? Or is it just easy for anyone else to find to enroll in your class?
Difficult like what? If you can go further to explain.
Let me talk about, because sometimes, as you said it, because maybe a student wants to say, I want to study about Europe. Why Africa? As you said it, that it's a dark continent.
Okay, yes.
Or why should I study in Africa? Because they are saying it's whatever the place, they're calling it up.
Yes.
So do you have those problems where having it difficult for students to enroll in your class because they want to enroll, to study another continent?
No, I don't really, because most of the time I just see the student coming to sit down.
Oh, wow.
You know, the student register, professors, we don't register them. They register.
Okay.
In colleges, they register.
Okay.
So I don't even know. Now, those who are registered for the fall,
Yes.
by April, I look over here, and
Yes.
all my 4 courses are full. The
Wow.
classes are full.
Wow.
Right? But they register. So when they come, then I ask them the reason why. So they have a purpose of registering.
So I'm so grateful now.
So when they register, they come and sit down. That's why they tell me the reason why.
You see, the good part that is touching me here is to see that your class is already full.
Most of the time, it depends. You know, this class is very, very important.
Yes.
Classes, students don't register. But that's why I see Africa is changing now. Because now, introduction to Africa, I teach introduction, African literature, introduction 40. And there are people waiting on list.
Wow.
It was 4 in April.
Wow.
Even though it's September,
Wow.
they've already. Because they know when they go and come, it will be full. So they have to wait before they go. Before holiday will fall.
Well, I just like this idea where so many people have taken so much interest to learn Africa.
That's where the interest.
That's a good part. That is really touching, because in the next generation, they're not going to face what I was facing, where they'll be asking me either I live with animals or what. Because now people, they have the actual full knowledge about Africa. We thank God for what you are doing in our community, and we thank God that you are the ambassador of African continent, that you are able to tell the story about Africa. Because if you check around, as you said it on your beginning, that Africa, the person who wrote a story about Africa is a European. But now we want to change. We want to use our own.
When I was in primary school,
Yes.
and I don't know whether some of you tell students so, most of the time our bookstores and library about African history, African culture is written by European.
Correct.
Yes. And most of the time their stories always taken about negative. So those who read throughout, it was negative. I'm telling you, most of the books, Africa took some time.
Yes.
To now realize that people are talking about them.
But that's exactly.
How can someone from outside come and talk about us?
Yeah.
So that's why they are talking about the poverty, the darkness, illiterates. They go to school, they walk around, they don't have history, disturbing noise. They talk about that.
Wow.
Right? But it could take time, and that happened strongly in the 1970s, 60s, 70s, when Africa won independence. In the 60s, late 80s, 60s, that's where things began to change. You have pioneers, literature writers, storytelling, people writing historians, anthropology. We were learning ourselves and write about ourselves. So this time when you go to the library, you have a lot of authors from Zambia, from so why and when you are reading them, so most of my textbooks, I don't select textbooks written non-African. I don't do that. I select somebody written by
Africans.
Because he's telling.
Professor, so if I move around in the library, am I going to find Professor Eriko Biko book?
No, but there's some also scholars, Africanists, who are not Africans. One side of Africa, basically, as for, there's what they are talking about Africa, it doesn't mean that it doesn't happen. It happened in Africa.
Correct.
There are wars, of course, ethnic disagreement, of course, there's a little bit poverty somewhere.
Yes.
There's so many other issues. But one thing we have to know, that what is happening in Africa happened in the whole world.
Yeah, that's exactly.
There's poverty in the United States.
Correct.
People are poor, people are begging. When you go to Europe, people are begging. It's a concept.
Yes.
Because the information taken to us is coming from where now you have the West having control. So they deselect, so that in their own culture they will tell the beautiful things. In Africa, it's still we call neo-colonization. They are so impacted. But one thing we talk about, that I think that there's a time Africa, because they are positive, that they don't say.
That's exactly.
And I give example in the class, Rwanda, early part of the 19th, you will see where there was an issue, there was war.
Yes.
It became media.
Yes.
This time, Rwanda is one of the best, highly developed, faster developing
country. Yes, in Africa, yes.
But it's not in CNN.
It's not on CNN.
Because it's not Africa.
Yeah, that's
It's not Africa.
You're right.
A lot of people visit Africa, and
Yes.
when they are coming, I met somebody who came to Ghana.
Yes.
He has everything
Yes.
to record. When he landed there, he went to invest in some. No, he didn't record because that is not Africa.
That's not Africa.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
When someone get to Kenya,
Uh-huh.
in the downtown
Yes.
city, that
They
is not
don't-
Kenya. He's waiting for a village when people are begging. That is Kenya.
Kenya. Wow.
So the information we have to. So when we are trying to teach them, it changes a lot of people's mind. Because what they are saying about Africa is just simply 30%. The 70% is African growth, and they have no idea. So we teach them African culture, African religion, political system, so many things, and that's what changed their mind. Because they see the positive side of Africa that is not there. We go deep into economic system. We go deep to family, so many other issues. Because Africa was colonized, but out of that, despite that, there's development. So it's not true that Africa is poor. It doesn't exist anywhere in the world. Because Asia also have poverty.
Correct.
Europe have poverty. So why in the media they want Africa alone poverty? There's poor everywhere.
That's exactly.
Everybody's begging everywhere.
That's exactly.
There's poverty. Like illiterate everywhere.
I say it again.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
But then they will never tell about Africa. Africa is growing.
Hallelujah.
So when I'm teaching in the class, we analyze. Then we go deep to analyze the 1990, right from there, where things change. After this, you know what I mean? After the Cold War, we look at the progress. So we go through progress from the 1990s into the 20th century developments. Even though Africa has a little problem with population growth, yes, still. All right, and we have to find a way. And most of the time, the problem where we discuss that most of them, the leaders need to. We have to bring a change. Because the leaders rely most on World Bank and a lot of things, you know. And this World Bank, they are all racist, that kind of stuff. We're trying to force. They are so put the whole colonial system over there. So I think that finally, at the end of the class, we tell them that Africans leaders, we all have to come together and mark it that the day all Africans will come together. Things will change. The problem is to bring differences. Bring differences and we fight against each other. But Africa is growing, and I will have a lot of articles I can send to those who want to read. They will see Africa is developing. They don't want to say it. Simple as that.
You are very right, Professor. Africa is rich. Africa has land. Africa has water. Africa has minerals. Africa has everything.
They don't want to say that.
But they don't want to say.
No, that's African news.
That's African news.
You have to know, CNN, African news, they are waiting till somewhere in maybe Zimbabwe people fight. As long as Zimbabwe, there's no war. Zimbabwe or Zambia news will never come to CNN. They are waiting till someone. You see what I'm talking about?
Yes.
When nothing is happening, there's peace, there's development. It's not Africa.
So, brothers and sisters, please, this is the real Africa that you are listening today. Africa is not the Africa that you see on CNN or any other news, but this is the true story of Africa. Africans telling about Africa, that Africa is not poor. Africa has got everything. Of course, as the professor was elaborating, that poverty is everywhere else. Even me, when I came to America, I didn't even know that there will be people that are also in the street. I was thinking it's the America that I see on the movies, Hollywood and other stuff like that. So I want you to know that this poverty or these challenges are everywhere. So thank you so much, Professor, for telling the story that it's not the Africa, the negative that you see, but there are good things that are not being mentioned on the media. And we will take time. We'll take time to tell the world that there's so much. There's so much you can do in Africa. We're going to talk about celebrating Africa. About this festival that is coming up. I want you to tell the communities around here, what is the purpose of celebrating Africa? Now the fact that the university has given us a platform, what message do you have? But for meantime, I want you to tell us what is the purpose of this African festival that is coming up.
What's the purpose?
Yes.
Do you want me to give the reason why?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. Now today we are quite excited trying to organize something like a festival, as we said already, to celebrate. But he was coming from somewhere.
Okay.
I think right from beginning I told you the difficulties we encountered.
Correct.
In the department. Sorry, not department. I'm talking about the school. I told you.
You're correct.
Anything about Africa is difficult.
Yes.
And let me start from here briefly.
Yeah, sure.
There was one professor, 2009, where this idea came to my mind.
Okay.
That we need to
2009.
2009.
Wow.
When this idea came to my mind. About 13 years roughly. I don't know roughly.
Wow. Yes.
Came to my mind. And there was one professor there, Professor J. May he rest in peace.
Oh.
He was the chair at Center of Africa Studies. And I discussed this idea with him.
Okay.
Because that was the time people were rushing to study Africa.
Okay.
People were rushing. Now classes full.
Wow.
All over.
Wow.
And you see these people sitting down. And there was one class that someone moved me. He came to the class. It was Music in Africa. And the person, it was full already. And the person, two of them decided to sit down on the floor. And I see them sitting down on the floor. But by rule, we can't. They are supposed to be that in waiting list.
Yes, yes, yes.
But they don't want to lose anything.
Anything.
So they came and sitting down.
Wow.
And when you see these children sitting down, they told me they won't leave.
Wow.
They said they don't need a chair to study Africa.
To study Africa. Wow.
I was moved.
That was so touching.
They were not African. They were begging me to study my culture. They would never leave.
Wow.
I can report them.
Wow.
I had to go and look for a chair.
To give it to
bring
them.
For them.
Oh, wow.
Because if they are begging you to study your culture, that changed my mind.
That's exactly.
2008, that changed 2004. So I begin to talk that we need, because it's not only those who take the classes alone. All right.
Yes.
But the community must know Africa.
Correct.
Because those who actually come with different aim and so on. And then unfortunately, he became sick, so he went on retirement. So he couldn't. So we have to wait. And then I and one other assistant director that's Macrina.
Yes.
Macrina Lele from Kenya.
Okay.
We talk about it to motivate them.
Yes.
But whatever we took, it go out, we throw it away. We are not ready. We throw it away. Until we get this director who came.
Okay.
And this director who came.
Yes. What's the name of the director?
That's Kathleen.
Oh, Catherine. Oh, yeah. I had the privilege to meet her the other time.
Beautiful. Yes. And when she came, she has do a stay in Africa for over 30 years.
Wow.
She sat with me. I said, "You welcome me, you are welcome."
Welcome.
Then I told my vision.
Yes. Wow.
She was moved.
Wow.
He said, "We're going to start." I said, "Here, we hold on." That's where we are starting.
Wow.
Because we want to show the world. That's why we're bringing African community. We need to change the mind of the people. We have to tell them what the culture is. So it's going to go to so many great detail. That later will send message for them to know. So it's a celebration.
Wow.
And one area I put here, what do we want to celebrate? There are very objectives to educate people about Africa and Africans. And also to unite African people in the diaspora. There's a problem here. You know, when we come, we become so isolated.
Correct.
Because you came with a different people, but we are Africans.
Correct.
Right? And we should remove that terminology and the mindset. You know, that I'm from this country. Fine, it's good. We have countries, but we have to know that the 54 countries, we don't found the 54 countries. Or colonization. Europeans gave those 54 countries.
Correct.
So I'm not so much of a Ghanaian that I feel that is different from Zimbabwe. You know what I'm talking
correct.
about?
Yes,
we have to see beyond just the country that were given to us. If we were not colonized, we would not have 54 countries.
No, maybe we would have.
Ghana will not be there. Nigeria will not be there.
Zambia will be there.
So it was a political system. Where is our culture? So countries don't have culture. The culture existed before Europeans came.
Correct.
So we want to celebrate what we call the Unite Africans. We are bringing everybody, whatever your level, bring everything to unite together. So, then also to promote African entrepreneurs.
Before you get there, who are the organizers of this festival? Who are the organizers for this festival?
This festival organizers are the Center of African Studies.
The Center of African Studies. Those are the organizers.
It was African Studies program.
Okay.
For quite so many years.
Okay.
And just this year, it was changed to Center.
Wow.
Because when it was African Studies program, we were limited of getting grants.
Okay.
The university, by that time, you know, they see Africa, that program, little also, but they push it somewhere. You don't need money to study what Africa, to do what Africa. Because they will use the money for something better. But then we push it and advert promote it. But eventually they had no choice but to accept it. So it was elevated, they promoted the center, change it becomes center. That's what give an opportunity now celebrate it.
Hallelujah. So you know, brothers and sisters, I just wanted to know that this festival is organized by the Center of African Studies at Pittsburgh University.
Yes.
Those are the organizers. Now, Professor, that the university has spearheaded, have given us a platform. What do you want people to know when they come to this festival? What should people expect on that particular day when they come for the festival?
Beautiful. Actually, we're going to, because it's a celebration of African culture.
Okay.
Let's put it generally.
Okay.
But culture is so diverse, it's so many. Actually, we started is 2-day events.
Okay.
The main purpose, that's the reason why it's going to be, we're going to have on that Friday,
yes,
that's on the 16th,
yes,
we're going to have presentation, panel discussion, and so and so forth.
Okay.
And they are going to get detail about analysis research that you have done. Then on the Saturday, we're going to have what we call, we put it here, over there, we're going to have performances. First of all, we're going to show African, that we use the term showcase.
Showcase, yes.
We're going to promote.
Yes.
People that's African food are going to display African food. All right.
Yes.
African different forms of food.
Okay. Okay.
Then we have those who are African sculpture. All right. Artifacts. So many different design, dresses, and so on. Then we have so many. We have different those who are going to. So we have certain areas for those who are showing food, those who are showing this, those who are showing that, all right?
Yeah.
And then, of course, we're also going to have performances.
Okay.
Performances, we're going to have a band come
Okay.
to perform. We're going to dance. All right? That's, we know, I was telling my students that Africans don't only sing, they dance. They move their body because the body is singing. All right? So, we're going to see the excitement there. They said, why do we blacks shake their head? I said, no.
You see, Professor, one thing have touched me so much is how you brought this issue all together, where you had to bring the researchers, that people that are researching about Africa, because normally most of these things they end up just within the student themselves, but you have make it open to everybody else to come and listen, and the improvement, the changes that have taken part in Africa. So brothers and sisters, get an opportunity to know the real Africa. There are people that are doing the research in economics. There are people that are doing research about our culture.
People are just doing, and things are changing. There's someone who read a lot of articles about Africa, you see the positive side. It is quite interesting now. So it's going to be presented. Then on the Saturday, we're going to have performances. We're going to also go a workshop of dance, music and dance.
So what time is it starting up on Friday?
It started at 10 a.m.
10 a.m.
through to around 4, probably around 4.
Oh, okay. Is it an open space?
It's open space. Open space.
Oh, okay.
It's open space in the yard, big yard.
Okay. So
we have tents, different tents.
You have different
displayed
tents
all over the place. We have music going throughout.
Anyway, I just wanted my viewers to know that this is an open event. I wanted my viewers to know that they are welcome. They are welcome to learn, to see the changes about Africa. Now, I'm so sorry because I had to interrupt you about your objective about this.
That's good. I love it. I mean, you just moved on.
Yes. So, how do you see this celebration? Is it just only this year, or is that something that you want it to be done yearly, or is it going to be on the calendar of Pittsburgh University that such a day it's about African celebration?
We intend to do it yearly. And this time, the yearly, we are now starting over here and we're getting few people, but we're going to expand. There's so many people who are going to come from even Africa to even present. It's going to be yearly, every year. So this is just the beginning. And if we come, that's why we are bringing the community in. African churches in, African faith groups in, so many companies. We want to group. So it's not just university. University is doing it, but bringing the community because there's a larger number of African community. That's why we have all those people coming together, being united to expand. At a certain time, we're going to even have some blacks, even in New York. Everybody participating. We want to unite because it's going to be every year. Every year. That's our purpose. Every year. And once we're able to succeed it will rise up and it's going to expand. Right? It's going to make a new change. A time can where some of the articles going to be published. People are doing research, bringing. A time is going to come that is not only professors who are going to maybe stand and talk about economy. We're going to invite market people.
Correct.
Right? Because we have some African people who are market people. All right. Because if you go to Zambia market, you see some people economic system. All right. And if you're talking about the system over there, so we are going to embrace everybody, farmers, fishermen. I mean, because they have to tell the story.
The story, yes.
Get the people to tell the story. That's the aim.
Professor Biko, I should applaud what you have done. This movement that you have started.
It's a movement.
It's a movement that you have started. Because you see, you did not just focus about your class, but you wanted to take the message out of the class so that the world should know. Because you see, there are certain there are certain people that limit themselves, but looking and listening to what you are telling me, it's like you have sent people out there to do the research about economics, about everything else that is happening in Africa. That's the good part. And actually the good part is that you did not just limit about the Africans in Pittsburgh, but you wanted to extend it to other Africans in the States or in diaspora, so that people can have the full information about Africa. So I'm just so grateful that you are one of the people that the vision that came up with a vision. Because you see, when people come from where we come from, sometimes they shy away. They don't want to speak up. They don't want to take up the leading role. But I have to appreciate for that leading role that you took up to say, because you told me that it started 13 years ago. We are here today talking about this festival. Oh, it started 13 years ago. I should sit down here and said, thank you so much.
13 years ago. That time, University of Pittsburgh didn't see that's so important. They don't want to waste money to study
about Africa.
Black history. It's a waste of money.
It's a waste of money.
It's so painful. It's so painful. Now I'm happy, but it's so painful. I remember Macrina, I will sit down.
Yes.
Almost crying.
Wow.
It's so painful when someone don't want to give you money to study your culture.
That's a shame.
And you're giving some people money to study their culture.
That's a shame.
It's not easy. We've come so far.
So, brothers and sisters,
come so far.
After sitting down with a professor, I learned that there are other communities, there are other continents that have been studying their culture, like the Asians. They've been celebrating their festival for the past 40 years.
40 years.
This is our festival.
Caribbean, when they come, they celebrate every year. When I came to Pittsburgh 2000, they started celebrating. So 10 years before even I came, they were celebrating
already.
Every year.
Wow.
Now Africa, one little money. Money is not there.
Money is not there. But one thing that have touched me is the way you have reached our communities. How you have sent the message out there. So brothers and sisters, I don't know where you are coming from. I don't know which country, but we are all Africans. We'll be looking forward to see almost every African who lives in our community
to come and
to be part and parcel of this movement that this group have started. Do you have any message for the communities out there?
What I want to say is that all Africans in general, we have to work our own way. No one will do it for us. No one will do it for us.
That's exactly.
Nobody wrote about Europe for Europeans.
Wow.
Europeans wrote Europe about themselves. The German wrote German
for themselves.
British
for themselves.
So how do we sit down? Because we are so quiet. We think to get money to be rich and that is all. And they are talking about us.
Wow.
And nobody even can it. So it's our duty. So I want to motivate us that we all get together. We all unite ourselves.
That's exactly.
We put our differences. It's not we have different differences. In one country, Nigeria have about over 250 ethnic groups. So many, Zambia, everywhere.
Yes.
It's nothing to us.
It's nothing.
We have one common goal. Because we all have one origin. Africans. And we have to tell about ourselves. We don't need any foreigner.
That's exactly.
That is all.
Wow.
So we made a mistake. And I always tell people that may God forgive us. Because we made a mistake. We allow people to write about us.
About us.
Today, no more. We are tired. This is the beginning.
So, brothers and sisters, we are looking forward to see everyone.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what kind of education you have. The fact of the matter, you are African. You should never be intimidated that this is Pittsburgh University, where there are only people with big brains. Even if you have brains, we need everyone to support this cause. This is very important. Let the next generation knows about Africa, because if you don't stand up right now, no one else is going to stand up and tell about Africa, about ourselves. So it's about time that you and I, we take up this leading role of bringing everyone together. I know you have a part to play in our community. You can pick up a phone call and invite your friend. There's a festival. Let's go and attend. You need to be part of this movement that have started taking place in Pittsburgh. And of course, we don't want to limit ourselves only in Pittsburgh, but we want to take the message across the world. Let the world knows about our Africa, the story about Africa. You have heard what other people are doing. The Germans, they write the story about themselves. Why we Africa, we want to wait for someone else to talk about us? And we have our own professors. They are here to tell the story about Africa. Professor, do you have any message that you want to send to the world about Africa as we conclude?
Conclusion, what I want to say is that now we've all come to a point. What I need is to encourage ourselves. There's one thing we say, hope. And I remember to say this finally, when in the 1968, I was a young person. At that time was James Brown. He wrote a certain song, Say It Loud, I'm Black and Proud.
Black and Proud.
That song changed the whole world.
Wow, yes.
I remember in Ghana, people were simply dancing across when they hear the song. It motivates people. It makes people see hope that no matter suffering, it matter go through slavery, colonization, apartheid, there's hope.
There's hope.
His song bring a change, change the world mind of people. He said, I'm proud. He said, God gave this to me.
God gave this to me.
God decided I should be black.
This is deep.
I mean, God said, Eric.
Yes.
I want you to be black.
Born
to be tall.
Yes.
To be born in the forest.
Hallelujah.
So that my name will be glorified.
Amen.
I'm so proud. There was one pioneer in Ghana he said something before he died. He said he's praying that if he died, he knows he will not return.
Yes.
But if he should return, he will tell God to make him more black.
More black. Wow. If he had to die and if he had to return,
God to be more black. Because it's so beautiful. Say it loud. That song changed our mind. It's left to us.
Hallelujah.
It's left to us. No one will tell about us. We shouldn't be disgraced. Be looking at certain things because we allow people to tell about us.
To tell about
who
us.
Are we? Because we will be blamed. Because what designed you to be like who you are?
That's exactly.
God knows he's a designer. He's an artist. He designed to look your nose. He said artist designer. So we wake up every morning and come and see me thanking God. He has made me who I am. That's the nature of our program here. We want to change mind. We're going to rise. We're going to develop. One day our generation will not be living, but our children will one day say that our fathers and our creation, that's what he said, and has come to hope. We need hope.
We need hope.
Things will change. Africa, people are now rushing to go to Africa. Chinese people are going to Africa. People are searching. In my class, everybody in the whole world have taken my class. They said, I'm begging me to study Africa. When if they want to travel. Why Africa is becoming first Africa was a dark continent. Now it's opening.
It's opening
people are
up.
Going to do business. People are going to interact. People are traveling to settle and so and so forth. Things are changing now. Why?
Exactly.
Because God is changing things around.
Correct.
God decide and it works that way. Today, one nation say he is, you know what I mean? Control the world. Things are going to change. But we have to come to a point and realize and just move forward. Until we come to realize and accept God, what God has given us, we can move. God can only work on us when we have the faith and trust that he began with us and he will end with us.
He will end with us. Brothers and sisters, as you can hear, it's about time we change the mindset about Africa. There's one part that is still missing, the time when he got his scholarship. I want my viewers to know how it happened for him when he got a scholarship. Professor, I want to tell my viewers how you got your scholarship and how many people applied and how come you became the person here, the person I'm sitting up with.
And that's what I was going to say, that I finished, I did as I've said, and I want to apply for or to continue my PhD here. But it was difficult in a sense that because when I was applying, by then I wasn't here, so I'm international students.
Yes.
And that time, international students, you pay twice to thrice. So if you have to pay something like maybe a year, for instance, maybe something like 7,000 here a year, you pay 21,000 or 20,000. Because you're a foreigner.
You're a foreigner.
So it was difficult. So, but I applied. And when I applied, it was later I came to know. They said around 60 people apply for master's PhD.
60?
Yes.
Wow.
A little bit more around. And I happened to feed the first only Africa.
Wow.
And in Africa, I was the one who topped them.
Wow.
I was the first.
Wow.
A black from Africa. Many of them from Europe.
Wow.
From Canada, from they're white, a black, and they said it changed the department.
Changed the department.
They cannot believe.
They cannot believe.
They could not believe it's true.
Wow.
No, they think it was a dream.
Dream.
So they have to look at it again.
Wow.
Because by them I have compiled things I have to publish, analysis, research.
Wow.
I carry it big,
Wow.
and they came with a box. They were wondering, is it from Africa?
What?
So they call me.
Yes.
They want to be sure.
If it is true.
No, because they could not believe. Because they've lived in a world where a black, you can't beat the white.
You can't beat the white.
And to begin with, if I were here, that's a different thing. They don't know I've been influenced.
Yes.
But I was living in a forest.
In Africa.
In Africa. So they want to know.
Wow.
This black man.
Wow.
I didn't know when I came here, then they told me.
Wow.
They were shaking hands.
Wow.
They tell me, when I came to visit,
yes.
you see every professor.
Yes.
Dance.
Wow.
They were looking at me from down to top.
Wow.
They were asking me how I got it.
How did you get here?
No, they could not believe.
Wow.
And when I came, normally when you come first year,
yes.
you don't teach.
You don't teach?
You can't teach. Most of the time, I graduate.
Okay.
So I was the first ever in the department
yes.
to start teaching. They
wow.
gave me fellow.
Wow.
So I won a full-time scholarship.
Wow.
Each year, $20,000 in the 2019 to 20,000, 2,000.
2,000. Wow.
2,000. So I finished 2005. That was the early time. And so which means that a total of 100,000 free. Then they also gave me fellowship.
Wow.
The fellowship, they will pay me.
Wow.
As a fellow teacher.
As a fellow teacher.
So because of that, when I came in, I was able to save to bring my family,
wow.
my children, my mom, the few months.
Yeah,
when
wow.
Come, yes, 2-10 years, they can't bring their family. They made me teach, research.
Wow.
Why? Because it changed their mind.
It changed their mind.
It changed their mind. For the first time, they are seeing a black. Because that's what I saw. God used me to change their mind. God can only work and change their mind when we avail ourselves. When we don't avail ourselves, God cannot change them.
Professor,
we hide ourselves. That's why God cannot change them.
Professor,
God wants to use you.
This is too big. My audience, maybe you miss it what the professor said. He was the first one out of all the people that applied. And even when he was accepted, they could not believe. He was not born here, but he's from our land. And he says, how can an African, a black for that matter,
be first?
Be first.
Beat the Europeans.
Ooh, tell me again.
Because Europeans who are coming, do you know what I mean?
Yes. Intellectuals.
And one thing they know from Ghana.
Yes.
Forest.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Because, in fact, when you see them almost bowed to me. They were there. Oh, hello, sit down. When I get there, how they respect me.
Yes.
They put a chair for me. Oh, I said, God, you make me somebody.
You make me somebody.
I was walking with boldness.
Wow.
Come and see me walking boldness.
Come see me walking boldness.
I am who I am.
Wow. We thank God. So, Professor, now that was 13 years ago?
Which one?
The time when you came?
That 2000.
2000. Yes.
So 22 years ago.
Oh, so from 2000 to now, how many blacks have joined your department? Or are you still the same?
No. Africana studies.
Africans,
I'm teaching African studies. We are all blacks.
Okay.
It's African studies.
Okay. Oh, yeah, now it's...
You're talking of those, because I came as a student.
And you came as a student, yes.
Yes. So when I came as a student, of course, certain year, I see one student also came from Nigeria. I have some Uganda. They come every year.
But
what beat them was not Africa, because definitely some Africans had come before me. I'm not the only African.
Yeah, that's exactly, yes.
What changed their mind was you become first.
Yes.
No, the fact is that they expect one Africa can enter. No, they have a lot of Africans who are passed through. No, I'm not the only African.
Yes.
But their condition is that if they are about 50, African will list. If they want, they just add a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But it's like you are grading. And if you are grading, then rather you happen to be the first. Who was first?
Who was first?
A black.
No,
you've changed
it. You changed it.
Yes, because it should be white.
First.
Yes.
Black.
You
last.
Yes, so if they want to take you, they take you a little bit. They want to give you, they want to, you know what I mean?
Yes,
they need to help you. But I changed. I came to a point where I need full-time scholarship.
Full-time scholarship.
And already they have limited.
Wow.
Out of 40, they have only 12 to give them, full-time. So others can come, but normally they limit it to about maybe 6 or 7.
6 or 7.
Yes.
Wow.
And I happen to be on top of the 6.
Wow.
Then to add to this, after the first, normally when you get to 2 years, you have to write a proposal.
Yes.
Or you have to go for research.
Okay.
And the research, normally they give a certain kind of grant.
Okay.
Which means that you don't work for a whole year. You go for research. You will be paid.
Whilst you're doing the research.
Yes, you'll be paid. So we call it something like a grant.
Okay.
And you apply for. And most of the time, the whole university, each department, those who apply, only few people. Because the university has to select. So maybe 2 people from engineering.
Yes.
And 1 from music department, 1 from so and so, 1 from, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And that year, we were 2 who were given that on a grant.
Wow.
And I was 1.
And you are one of the 2.
One of the 2.
Hey, you are blessed. We thank God.
5 years. So the whole year, they put money in my bank.
Ooh.
When I'm just traveling around. So they can't see who are you to begin with.
Wow.
Because we're all black, whites apply. But you're the black. So it's not just the 2000, but 2000, I remember 2002. I came and the post, my name was there. Who won?
You see, what has really touched me is how humble you are. I remember the time when I met you at church. Then one of my sisters says, meet the professor at the Pittsburgh University. I saw the humbleness. I could not believe. It's because you see, when people rise into a position like the way you are, some of them we need to make an appointment, maybe to push for the next 2 or 3, but to see you come down to kneel before God. And you can see the blessings.
You have to know where it's coming from.
Yes.
It's not my strength.
Yes.
It's God.
Amen.
You know, if you think you did it, that's why you want to. I cannot do that. It's God who changed your mind.
Hallelujah.
I remember there was a time when I pray. I can remember this. When I pray, I remember. When I've applied.
Yes.
When I was about to send application, I have everything. And I put it down in front of us. And bow down. And pray on it.
Hallelujah.
But then I applied.
Yes.
Even 5 years before, I've applied in Europe, everywhere to go. Most of the time, they give me appointment, but they don't give me scholarship.
Oh, wow.
And I will not be able to go and pay. So the last time I was just praying that God, I've come so far. I've hit the stone.
Oh, hallelujah.
I said, God, without you, I made it plain to God.
Yes.
You gave me the gifts.
Hallelujah.
You gave me the gifts.
Hallelujah.
And then you gave me the gifts. And I have to develop the gifts. It's not by might. It's not by might. It's by the power. And I want to, God, do this so that I will have a testimony.
Hallelujah.
And let people know that it's your glory.
Hallelujah.
So I prove by it. Then I post.
You see, that's exactly where I was coming from. Because when you're telling me how everything was happening, I can see that it can only be God. Because you see, in most of the world that we live in, we get opportunity because we have a name, we know somebody else, but here you are, came from Africa, and you know, you came with not these big names, whoever we call it here in America. But when you have God, God will qualify you where you're not qualified. Sometimes you wonder, how did I get here? Because my question was, how did you get here? But now I can see that it's that move, it's because of the glory of God.
And you know, one thing I pray, said, God, and I know I was finding problem because from there I knew the history.
Yes.
That most of the time Africans, when we apply,
yes,
they analyze because they are not sure. Because but then you have your maybe your bachelor already.
Yes.
But they don't even trust your university to begin with.
Yes. Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
You say you've done university, you are coming here to continue to do your masters. They don't even trust you.
They don't even trust your university in the first place.
They compare your credit, your grade to this side. Ooh. Because the way you see investing in Zambia is the way they say differently.
Wow.
You bow to it.
That's exactly.
Happy.
Yes.
Respect. They don't see that way. A third world investing.
Yeah. They don't see it that way.
No.
It's like a college.
What shocked them was not because I went to the university there. But then publish monograph.
More.
So when they open articles,
wow,
that's what beats them.
Wow.
Because I don't know, these people, when I talk, they will not accept it. So let me show them.
This is my work.
And they carry it and open it.
Wow.
And you know, I've done analysis, Mozart, Handel, and analyzed their music.
Wow.
Yes, because I was a musician, I analyzed it.
Wow.
They took it and see analysis of European, Africa. And it was, and they brought something for me to listen to a song with my ear and tell the key.
Wow.
I listed everything. And when they were playing, it was exactly key.
Wow. Africa.
No, they were going for something. So when they open it, nobody brought it. They just call me, are you Eric?
Yes.
They want to know.
Oh.
They're just calling me. They want to hear my voice.
Wow.
Oh, Jesus.
You know, brothers and sisters.
God wants to lift us.
You may be just watching, but I'm sitting down here with a humble professor. I can see the power of God working into this man. Because you see, in most cases, when we are in a position somewhere over that side, we tend to become our own little God. But here is a man. I go with him at church, I see him, how humble he is. I'm not surprised that we become a little God. But I've seen how God has elevated him. And you know, God is not done with him. There's so much that he has to offer to the world. You see, he was limited in class, but he has said the class is not big enough. He has expanded. He wants to go out there. He's taking his message out to the world now. So there's so much power, brothers and sisters, when you humble yourself, when you let God use you. God is using him. And so much we know about Africa through him.
Yes.
Through his sacrifice, through his humbleness, through God is using him. I know and I pray that there will be so many Africans that will be like our professor here. That when they see this message, they should be inspired. Let's change our mindset. Let's humble ourselves when we are in our position. What do we do with our position? Is it just only ourselves? Or it has to have an effect in our community or the people that are living within us? We should move away from that mindset. It's only me and my wife. I'm seeing it from my professor here. His message is out to the world. So please make sure you share this video with your friends. Forward it to others so that they can see this powerful testimony. When God is with you, all things are possible.
That's the right word. All things are
possible. Because in our own eyes, It could not be possible. There's no way we'll be talking that you'll be selected among all the Europeans, all the Asians that applied. An African was supposed to be last, but there are only 2 that came up.
Third world. You know, so my point is that because my desire and heart,
yes.
One thing is that, you know, we have to also come to a point where we have to accept what God has given to us.
Correct.
You have to be proud of your culture.
Yes. Yes.
The reason why God didn't let you be born in Europe, but in Zambia.
In Zambia.
Because he knows what is right for you.
He knows.
He saw you. He chose the rights and put you that side. That is it.
I like that part.
He chose.
Yes.
God selects. He said, Leonard, you know what I have for you?
Yes.
Zambia.
Zambia.
Not France.
Zambia.
But you want to change it.
Yes. After God...
No, you want to tell God that God, I have the rights.
Wow.
Then you expect God to continue blessing you. The reason why we don't receive, the reason why we're suffering, is not because God wants blood. God is ready. But we've lost the direction.
Yeah, we have lost the direction.
We've removed what we take to do. We should be proud of it. That's why it's time. So my concern right from beginning, when I was young, even in high school, my heart and desire and respect to be African. It started quite a long time.
Hallelujah.
Yes. When I was quite young, what I'm saying, when we were young, the 60s, say it loud, I'm proud. People were dancing. I said, why this guy say proud? I'm proud to be black.
I think the fact...
And, you know, and that move, as people were dancing on the street,
he
motivated change. That was one of the platforms I realized myself be proud. So I'm telling you, when in high school, I'm learning about Africa. I'm searching, reading about Africa. Reading of Africa, I stopped. I was reading a good the library looking at Africa, because there's somebody who was singing and said, say it loud.